How we doing? Hey, well, you know, it looks like we're fucking on. I am completely and utterly blown away by that fact. I have spent over an hour out here trying to get all of this stuff set up, and Rumble was not working. It was not having it. I guess it took the day off. I don't really know. All I do know is that it has gotten on my everlast nerve. And I have said some really bad curse words. That's right. All right, I can hear myself, so I know I know we're tracking now. I literally had to go back and remember who I used to live stream through so I could go back to that platform, because Rumble just was not going to work. It just wouldn't work for X at all, and it would say that YouTube was on, but when I went over to my YouTube live events on YouTube, they were empty. They were there, but they were empty. Nothing was coming through. That was the problem I had with Rumble once before. Is it's not really reliable. I love it in the fact that it's an extra platform, because I can't get to it from any of these, so I have to start with it, and then I can go to X and YouTube, and then Instagram is its own problem. I can only do Instagram on Instagram, unless I maybe want to try and bring my computer out here every time, which I don't want to do. But I know that's not what y'all are here for today. You are here to hear about a wonderful bourbon, whiskey, spirit, and a wonderful cigar. And I actually have both of those for you. Welcome back to Sticks-n-Stonez. Today I have a pairing that really hits the that kind of perfect sweet spot between power and refinement. We're going to dive into a very rich kind of chocolatey cigar with really one of the most iconic single barrels in bourbon that has been chased mightily over the last few years. And you may know what I'm talking about, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to dive right on in right now. I am bringing you Blanton's, the original single barrel, with an EP Carrillo La Historia. I really do think this is going to be a wonderful, wonderful episode. Now that I have all the technology issues worked out for a little while, I don't know. I was beginning to wonder. We've got a reservation at 5 o'clock to go eat, and I was starting to wonder, am I going to make it? Am I going to be done with this in time, or should I just say to hell with it and try it again tomorrow? That's about where I was at. So let's go ahead and uncork. I don't know what the 95-pound doorbell is barking at in there, but she refuses to stop, and I'm not going to get up and go tell her, and Mama's probably not told her. Look at that. Is that not a beautiful, beautiful spirit in the glass? This is, let me do my math, 46 point, no, 246, yes, 46 point, 42 point something, 5. I think it's 42.5, 93 proof. It's, I'm already too messed up to try and do math. This is a single barrel bourbon. The mash bill, Buffalo Trace does not disclose mash bills. It's believed that this is mash bill number 2, which is considered their high rye blend. It is a majority corn. It will have a typically higher percentage of rye in it, and then it'll be topped off with a little bit of malted barley. The elevated rye content introduces some spiciness and some brightness, which is kind of key to cutting through the kind of dense Maduro type sweetness of a La Historia. Now on the nose, I know there are people that they give Blanton's a lot of shade. Oh, it's not all that great. And hey, granted, you're seeing it now between $80 and $100 a bottle, where a few months ago, if you could find it, you weren't going to pay below $130 for it. but it's a really great spirit. It is. I mean, you're talking Buffalo Trace. If you don't like Buffalo Trace's line, then you're probably not going to like any of this stuff. But Buffalo Trace makes Blantons and E.H. Taylor and Weller and on and on and on and on. So it kind of slices out a good portion of your whiskey inventory. But this has a wonderful, wonderful nose on it. I really do love Blantons. And I like Weller too, and E.H. Taylor, and Buffalo Trace. They all have their position, but you will get some wonderful, wonderful notes of caramel and orange peel and vanilla, and a little bit of light baking spice with this kind of subtle floral note. A little bit of just a little bit of ethanol burn on the nose, just enough to let you know, hey, this isn't 80 proof. Wonderful. Now on the palate. That's what we're here for, right? I let that one go down too quick. Let me get another one. I got excited. On the palate, you get these like notes of honey and toffee and this kind of bursting citrus zest and a little bit of soft oak with kind of a silky, balanced kind of mouthfeel with just a hint of burn around the edges of your tongue. The finish is a medium length finish with some lingering sweetness, a little bit of light pepper and maybe some polished oak in there. Now that this is coming down to under $100 a barrel, if you can find a bottle of it, well, I've seen a few bottles around. If you live up around Kentucky, you can find it. But I live up on the north side of Dallas, and not so much up here. I'll see it a little bit, but not very often. And I still had plenty. I didn't feel like buying another bottle. There's better ways I could spend $85 or $90 right now. So, but I mean, that is just a gorgeous spirit. It's got a great nose to it. It's got a great palate to it. Nice silkiness. It goes with a plethora of cigars. And speaking of cigars, I got all kinds of messages down here, but I can't read them. Oh, you're telling my followers? Yeah, tell them. Hey, tell them I'm on. I'll try and wave at everybody. The EP Carrillo La Historia. That's just a beautiful stick. It is a dark chocolate kind of brown. It has tight and, invisible seams. It's got a little bit of a ruffiness to it. It's not just like smooth. The outside does have that feeling of kind of like paper bags. It has a beautiful, count these lines here, double cap. It is Ecuadorian and Nicaraguan binder and filler, and then that is cloaked by my favorite, Mexican San Andrés Maduro wrapper. Oh, I can never say enough good stuff about the Mexican San Andrés wrapper. It is my favorite tobacco leaf of all time. Of all time. It offers an excellent draw, a little bit slower burn, nice thick smoke output, and a good solid ash construction on the nose. You get some nice notes of cocoa and a really good earthiness, some espresso, and a little bit of kind of subtle sweetness, not anything specific. Let me go ahead and give it a cut here. Where'd my cutter go? I was about to start throwing stuff. And to top it all off, the moment I came out here, there was mowers mowing. And I was like, yeah, all day, when I decide I'm going to come out, the mowers are going to be here. But fortunately, they were mowing when I came out. And so they were done before I ever got through with all this shit show. But, I have complained pretty mightily here lately. Seems to be a common theme there, doesn't it? about the lack of sports on TV. Well, my choice today was men's lacrosse, college, softball tournament, cricket, not the bug. I did get to catch like the last minute and a half of the European League football, American football. Paris and somebody, and I couldn't even, one of them was getting blown out. It was like 30-9 or something. And so I've got lacrosse on. But anyway, back to this. You see, I'm very distracted today. You get wonderful notes of chocolate. It's a nice raisiny kind of sweetness in there. And then you also get a little bit of kind of the dark sweetness like molasses. I love molasses. When I married Mrs. Sticks-n-Stonez, she didn't know what molasses was. She was born in Dallas and raised in Boston. And I'm like, yeah, that's molasses. That's deep South stuff. I prefer molasses over honey. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this thing fired up. This is kind of an entertaining episode. I've cursed about Rumble and talked about the terrible amount of sports on TV on a Saturday after 12 o'clock. Talked about the mowers. Yeah, there's been a whole lot of stuff I've talked about. You think that's some smoke output? On the light, you get some just fabulous notes of cocoa and espresso, kind of that dark mocha kind of thing, with some dark fruit that kind of dominates with a kind of a rich coating of sweetness. Not any particular kind of sweetness, it's just kind of sweet, you know. So, on the retro, I get a little bit of pepper, a little sweetness, and also a little bit of leather. We're tracking, we're doing good. All right, time to try them together. Here we go. Oh yeah, I'm feeling better now. Things are kind of loosening up. Together, the Blanton's kind of adds a lift and a brightness. The citrus and the honey kind of cut through the density of the cigar, making the opening feel a little more balanced and smooth. They work together very, very well. Have Byron, see, and I can't get my Bayern Munich Reds on here either. They're playing right now, but I chose to be here with you. I love the way the smoke kind of hangs in the glass. Not all cigars do that. Some of them it dissipates very rapidly. Some of them it does not. And I just like it. It doesn't really mean anything that I know of. I never could find anything about it. I just liked it. I liked the way it looked. It looked kind of Halloween-y. And we're halfway there, halfway to Halloween. It does. I mean, picking the right spirit for a cigar really means the world to the enjoyment. If you have a spirit that is overpowering, like overproofed, not all cigars can handle 125, 130 proof spirit. Or if you have one that's too weak, if you have one that's, one of the thinner kind of whiskeys that's down at 80 proof, right at the floor, they could get overpowered by a cigar. But if you find one, whether it's a contrast or compare, but if you find one that does one of those two things well with that cigar, it really makes your time much more enjoyable. It really does. You can't just literally throw any cigar with any spirit and be like, oh, this is the most wonderful thing I've ever had. You'll find that, like with a very weak spirit, you'll be like, I really don't taste a lot of the spirit. It's the smoke is the strength of the cigar flavors are just so overpowering. And vice versa. $40,000 residents are under an evacuation order. That doesn't sound good. Well, I haven't heard anything around here, so I'm pretty sure it's not here. But anyway, I'll go back, because for those of you that may have stepped in a little late, because I announced at like, I don't know, it was 12:45 or something like that I was about to go live. And an hour later, I finally was able to go live. Oh, I was here working it. I was working it. If you joined in late, you missed all the cussing. Rumble was not having other platforms today. I've been using Rumble for months and months and months because it allows me to stream on another platform, which gives me more visibility, right? Every so often, it gets contrary. And when it gets contrary, it'll piss you off. And this time, every time I would go in and I'd have to put everything in, ready to go live, and I'd say, all right, go live. And then you'd see the wheels start turning by X and by YouTube, and then the little hazard sign would pop up, and we couldn't get that. We couldn't make the connection. So I ended up deleting YouTube and X out of Rumble and adding them back in again, connecting them again. And now YouTube would say it connected, that it was going live. But when I've got my other phone over here where I can watch what's going on, wasn't going live. It was trying to psych me out. So I literally had to think back, because I couldn't remember who I was using before I moved over to Rumble. I finally figured it out, and I went back over there, and now here we are. And I can see myself over here on, I don't know if I'm on it. I think I pulled up X. I don't know. Maybe I pulled up YouTube. But no, it's X. It's X. And I could hear myself. So I know I'm at least going on X, which is good, because that's X, and Instagram is where I spend my time. I hope some of you, at least some of you, have been following my cigar musings on YouTube. Those are wonderful little daily drops of wisdom. I've got well over 100 of them out there now. They're just shorts, 15, 20 seconds long. I usually have some kind of coordinating music in the background. It's just me smoking a cigar, drinking some whiskey, and giving you a quote of the day. It's a great way to spend your time. So go and check that out. But anyway, for those that may have joined in late, we're doing Blanton's single barrel, the original. That's their base spirit. And we're pairing that with an EP Carrillo La Historia. The Blanton's it's believed to be Buffalo Trace's #2 mash bill, which is their high rye mash bill. It's predominantly corn with a higher than normal percentage of rye, and then the remaining topped off with a little bit of malted barley. On the nose, you got some wonderful notes of caramel and orange peel and vanilla and some baking spices, a little bit of floral notes in there. On the palate, you got honey and toffee, citrus zest, some nice soft oak, and it's got a really nice silky kind of balanced mouthfeel. And then it had a medium finish with some lingering sweetness and a little light pepper around your tongue, and then some nice polished oak. The EP Carrillo La Historia is a Ecuadorian and Nicaraguan filler and binder, and a Mexican San Andrés wrapper. This beautiful dark lovely right here on the outside of this stick. It gave us notes on the nose of cocoa and earth and espresso, and some subtle sweetness. On the palate, it gave us more cocoa, more espresso, kind of some dark fruit in there. with a rich kind of coating kind of sweetness, not any particular kind of sweetness, just sweetness. And when you put them together, the Blantons added a nice lift and brightness to the cigar. The citrus and the honey kind of cut through the density of this Maduro wrapper, making the opening feel a little more balanced and smooth. Yeah, you're all caught up. I often forget, because I smoke the La Historia every so often. I think I've got 2 more. No, I've bought another box. I have another box that I hadn't even broken into yet. I've got 2 more left, just individually. And I got an entire box I haven't opened yet. But I forget. If I don't smoke it, just like every, like a rotation. I forget what a great smoke producer it is. I love the smoke on the La Historia. My day's getting better. And then we're going to this place tonight. They have a nice rooftop patio that's covered, and it's a restaurant and bar, and so we're going to go and have a few drinks and have a little dinner and congregate with some friends. So it's going to be a good rest of the day. My 12:30 to about 2 o'clock wasn't too good, but we're getting better. Game 3, the Avalanche and the Golden Knights, NHL playoff. To me, I don't follow hockey a lot. I watch the Dallas Stars a little, but it seems to me like when you add the playoffs to it, hockey season is like 10 months long. Is it just me, or is that actually true? Because they'll have the Stanley Cup in like June or July. And then like September or October, they're playing again. Like, that's not much time off. No, those guys get beat around. I saw a dude get hit in the face with a puck the other night. Whew. Yeah, I don't do that. They need to wear these bicycle helmets the lacrosse players are wearing. The bicycle helmet with a cage on the front of it. As I mentioned earlier, those of you that maybe came in late don't remember, Blanton's single barrel is starting to be a little more accessible. I have the price generally at MSRP is coming in at under $100. I wouldn't be paying over $100 for it, especially if you're trying to go to one of the third-party people. Speaking of, hey. This wasn't whiskey. I read this story. I lived for a lot of years in Memphis. It used to be a great place to visit, and you didn't want to live there. Now you don't even want to visit there. But there was a kids' soccer game, and this mother had brought a table, and she had set up a bar at the kids' soccer game, and she was selling drinks. Somebody called the police on her, and she got arrested for selling liquor without a license. I was dying. I'm like, that sounds about right. She didn't, it was hard to tell from her mugshot. I mean, she was a fairly nice looking lady, but you couldn't tell if she was like just unimpressed or if maybe she was actually kind of thinking, what the hell's going on, but they arrested her. Selling liquor without a license at the kids' soccer game. That's classic. And this is I post mostly. I try to post mostly cigar and spirit stuff, but I do end up posting a lot of stuff that doesn't have anything to do with either. And but on Facebook, I think on my personal page, I shared a video. Not a video, a story. It was a mugshot. This dude, he's wearing a T-shirt that's all ripped up. There's blood stains on it and stuff. And it's talking about how he broke into the backyard of this house because he's going to try and steal the barbecue grill. And the pit bull that lived back there didn't take kindly to that. He called 911 on himself. He said he needed help. And there were so many one-liners in that story that I just thought were so hilarious. I can't remember them all now. I just remember he called 911 on himself, and the cops had to come and rescue him. He was up on top of the table. Yeah. Don't get into a life of crime, kids. You can make just as much money out in the working world. Maybe a little harder to get, but you have a whole lot less trouble. I never got arrested cashing my paycheck. So. EP Carrillo makes some excellent cigars. This is the one that I smoke the most. I do have the EP Carrillo Maduro in there, which really looks a lot like this cigar, but it's this is like a 6.2 inch. Maybe a little bit longer than that, somewhere around in there. I'm not really good at measuring length. And that's what she said. But it's a real Robusto. It's like 5 by 50 on the ring gauge. It's a good cigar. It is. It's really good. This is the one I really like the most, though. And we'll get a little bit farther, but we're getting getting down kind of close to the halfway mark. It's got a nice burn to it. I do have some wonderful stacks of ash there. Great construction. EP Carrillo is they're kind of known for how good they are as far as construction goes. It's really good. They're really quality. Real good quality cigars as far as construction goes. I don't think I've ever had one that's like exploded on me and wrapper come all off, nothing like that. No, as long as you keep them the way they're supposed to be, you'll be good. I watched a little across, but I don't really understand it. It looks kind of like soccer with a smaller ball and a bunch of sticks. And they're not quite as much floppers as the soccer players are. I love my Bayern Munich Reds, but it doesn't matter what team you're talking about. There's a lot of flopping goes on in soccer. It's like a bunch of LeBrons. Let's see, how we doing here? We're doing all right. Yeah, I like it. Hi. It's hard for me to keep track of all this stuff. I got to try and keep up with what's going on here. But yeah, we're doing pretty good. I'm relatively happy. This episode did not start in a good place, but it's rapidly changed. So I hope you all are enjoying it. It's kind of hard to fill that gap between the initial light and sip and all that, and then the halfway mark. I always try to go back and for people that join in late, because people come on. Hey, I'm doing good over on X. I got double digits over there. I'm rolling today. I'm rolling. But we'll do it again for those that might have joined in late. I am pairing EP Carrillo's La Historia and its wonderful Mexican San Andrés wrapper with Blanton's single barrel, their original. That's their base spirit. It is believed to be Buffalo Trace's mash bill number 2, which is a high rye mash bill. So it's predominantly corn, fairly high corn content considering the sweetness that it puts off, but then a higher than normal amount of rye. Normally, you'll see somewhere around 10%, and high rye might be 15 or 20%. And then the last bit is made up with malted barley. How come the women lacrosse, they don't wear helmets? They're showing a little clip of women's lacrosse, and they just wear like the old Kareem Abdul-Jabbar clear goggles with the band. Anyway, where were we? All right. But on the nose, you got some wonderful notes of caramel and orange peel and vanilla and some baking spices in there, and a little bit of floral. The palate, just absolutely fabulous palate with honey and toffee and citrus zest and some soft oak with a kind of a silky, really balanced kind of mouthfeel to it. It was a medium finish with some lingering sweetness, a little bit of light pepper in there, and some more oak. The La Historia, excellent construction that Carrillo is known for. It is Nicaraguan and Ecuadorian filler and binder, and a Mexican San Andrés wrapper. The nose on it gave us cocoa and earth and espresso and a little bit of sweetness. The cold draw had some chocolate and a little bit of raisin in there and some molasses. And once we got the cigar lit, we got cocoa and espresso and a nice kind of dark fruit component, and some a rich kind of coating sweetness. And together, the Blantons really provided kind of a brightness and kind of lifted the cigar. And the citrus and the honey kind of was able to cut through the density of that Maduro, making the opening feel really balanced and smooth. Excellent combination here. A plethora of smoke, and it did not go on my lap, but when I put my arm down, I guess I put it down too hard and knocked the ash off. I was really trying because we were doing really well there, but we're ready to go ahead and get the halfway out of the way here. As we've gotten to the halfway mark, the earthiness in the cigar has deepened. The chocolate has turned more of like a dark chocolate. And the pepper begins to build up. The rye spice from that mash bill is really now shining. It's really locked in with the cigar structure and kind of enhancing the complexity with that chocolate orange kind of dynamic. It's a really, really great pairing. I mean, these two go together very, very well. Wonderful. I know that you all probably have many more things to do this afternoon, and I have absolutely no idea how long I've been on for sure. Oh yeah, a little over a half hour, so I'm just about right. I'll go ahead and give you the rest of it so you don't have to stick around on this Saturday. At the last half, you got a lot of really full-bodied intensity on the cigar, the espresso, and you got some charred oak, and then that kind of dark chocolate, and a slight bitterness. Together, the Blantons really kept the experience refined. It kind of smoothed the edges out and maintained the structure and prevented any palate fatigue. The San Andrés Maduro wrapper really drives that kind of deep chocolatey sweetness, and the rye-influenced bourbon kind of cuts and elevates with a nice spice and citrus component. Overall, I mean, this is a near perfect balance of like richness and refinement. As this pairing has kind of evolved, it contrasts and harmonizes at every single stage. Overall, I would give this pairing a 9.3 out of 10. I think you should really try them. And if you go to X and you become a subscriber for $1 a month, my subscribers, they got my pairing notes yesterday. You could have gone out and bought this, or at least tried with the Blantons, and you could have been here puffing and sipping right along with me. Think about that for next week, because I'm going to have another great pairing next week. But until we get to be together again, keep your sticks dry, your stones cold, and have a great day.